Good evening, I'm Lisa Broom with the Monday, July 21st edition of the CBC Evening News. In our top story, St. James South MP Donville Innes has been commenting on a decision by the opposition's number 2 in the lower house of Parliament not to mount a BLP platform to protest the solid waste tax last night. Kerry Simmons announced his intentions not to speak at the meeting at Carlisle Car Park on a call-in program yesterday. Speaking at a constituency branch meeting last evening, Mr. Innes described Mr. Simmons' decision as a refreshing sign of maturity.
Kerry's most telling point to me was the fact that he has listened to his constituents and he, like them, have accepted that the issue of solid waste management in Barbados is a very serious one and one that cannot be resolved without some monetary injection and without a cost. And to me, that is the gist of it. That was such a refreshing thought today. And I had to hear it over and over again and then go on the internet and read it for myself.
Mr. Innes also believes while government has decided to allow concessions for the solid waste tax, it needs to ensure equity is maintained in the system.
I don't think it's fair to say, well, you're over 65 and therefore everybody over 65 gets the same benefit. But Kevin Simpson and Carl Williams are over 65 too. Now, I'll tell you this though. There are a lot of individuals in their 30s, 40s, and 50s who live in wall houses and are traditional middle-class neighborhoods who are getting nowhere what those over 65-year-olds I just classified are getting. And they're still having to pay their mortgages, still having to pay for the cars.
While attention is focused on the more visible layoffs in the public sector, retrenchments are also happening in companies across Barbados. This revelation from President of the Human Resource Management Association of Barbados, Glenda Gilks. While noting that she has no actual figures, she says it is occurring.
Behind the scenes, there's some private sector retrenchment, and not necessarily too because of the economy, but because people are looking at technology and looking to improve what they deliver to their clients. So where you have a job that maybe have been a manual process, now it's more automated and so on, and you may see some fallout from that. I don't have any statistics here with me this morning, but I can tell you that it's subtly happening behind the scenes. And I just want to encourage those persons because, you know, anybody can be a victim of redundancy or severance, that there's hope for tomorrow and that we have to ensure that with all the different organizations we have on board, that we're able to help those persons.
Ms. Gilks was speaking after the opening of a workshop designed to prepare members of the disabled community for the world of work. She is also not particularly impressed by the public discussion on how employers should go about laying off workers.
There's some kind of discussion and discourse about how do we do this correctly. I don't know if you can ever do it correctly, but I want to say that, you know, organizations have a responsibility to if there's going to be a separation, they do it so that that employee does not feel disenfranchised, and that they also create opportunities for those employees who are exiting the organization to continue on. So I think it is important that employee assistance programs are introduced to the workforce so that employees, even if they're exiting the organization, they can move on with some amount of hope.
And as members of the disabled community continue to plead for opportunities to show they can be productive members of the workforce, efforts are underway to ensure they are ready for the world of work. That's why several people with disabilities are attending a one-week seminar organized by the Human Resource Management Association of Barbados in collaboration with the Barbados National Organization of the Disabled, or BARNOD. Speaking of the need to integrate such people in the workplace, HERMAB President Glenda Gilks says President of the Senate, Senator Kerry Ann Eiffel, is an excellent example of how well they can fit in and function.
I have not heard of any special arrangements required by the Senator outside of what we consider to be normal. She has not allowed her vision impairment to undermine or hinder her management of the Senate. What she has done successfully, whether deliberate or not, is to have raised our awareness that disabled people to have dreams, aspirations, and hopes like everyone else.
Vice President of Barnard, Udaley Wickham Ashby, encouraged the participants to learn as much as they can and then put it into practice.
1, either establish your own business. 2, form partnerships that you can have a company where you can provide services or produce products that can be sold. And 3, enter into the open job market where you can work within a company or some other setting where, again, you will be a productive citizen.
Consultations on healthcare financing with a view to devising proposals for reform are expected to begin soon. This from Health Minister John Boyce, who was speaking at a ceremony to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Bayview Hospital over the weekend. Mr. Boyce says the challenge is to find ways to set up a sustainable financing model so Barbadians can continue to receive the best care at a price the country can afford. The Health Minister notes that health care costs have risen significantly in the past few years due to more advanced medical treatments and technologies. Mr. Boyce says in order to build a cost-effective system and manage healthcare costs, government is committed to working further with the community, healthcare providers and insurers. The primary aims, he says, are to make healthy living as affordable as possible and to ensure that healthcare dollars are spent wisely through increased productivity, improved efficiency and reduced wastage. A mission is on to save the Society Primary School. The charge is now being led by noted historian Professor Henry Fraser and activist David Commissiong. They met with parents, students, residents of St. John and other interested parties yesterday at the Holy Cross Anglican Church. They're attempting to form a committee which will lead the campaign to save and hopefully repair the school. They're trying to drum up more support for the cause, telling people to put pen to paper in the form of a petition against the planned closure of Society School. Plans are in the works to shut down the institution, replacing it with a new facility on the grounds of St. John's Primary, where the school will be amalgamated. Professor Fraser is making a case for Society to be repaired, noting that it was the first school built for the children of the enslaved, which was established in 1795.
On the basis of the building and the maintenance, it does not make sense to close Society, because if you have to build 2 new classrooms over at St. John's Primary, that would cost more than repairing Society School. I'm fairly confident, even without going into the school building, I'm fairly confident of that.
And activist and attorney at law David Commissiong is meanwhile appealing to have Society Primary, along with Lodge School and Codrington College, designated UNESCO World Heritage Properties.
Recently, Bridgetown and its garrison was granted a UNESCO World Heritage Site designation. Why shouldn't we have similar aspirations for these St. John institutions, all of which emerged in one way or another out of Christopher Codrington's will and that bequest that he made to establish a college.
There's more news ahead, but first we want to hear from you on the question, do you believe Society Primary School should remain operational? Text yes or no to short code 8111. We'll have the answer for you at the end of the news.
Right from its start over 80 years ago, Goddard Enterprises made innovation and diversification its own proud tradition. Today's Goddard Enterprises Limited is one of the Caribbean's foremost and diversified multinational corporations, comprising more than 50 companies in over 20 countries. Goddard Enterprises Limited is catering, manufacturing, hospitality and service business, financial, and marketing and distribution of world-famous brands. Goddard Enterprises, the tradition of innovation and service since 1921.
I sent a text to the economic program, and then I got a call saying that I was a winner. This system is beautiful. For baths, it is excellent. I want to thank SunPower for this wonderful gift and giving back to the community. And I want to say again, thanks very much to Economics and SunPower, and I encourage everyone to watch the show. You too can be a winner.
Yes, it's SunPower.
You just got into a car accident. Now you have to fix it and you don't have a cent. Don't worry, be happy. Your home got flooded out and you've lost it all, and chances to recover start to look very small. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy. Beacon will cover you and we'll always see you through in everything you gotta do. We'll be there for you.
Want to live the worry-free life today? Call us at Beacon or log on to beacon.co.tt and we'll be happy to help you get there. Beacon Insurance. Switched on.
Barbados is continuing efforts to protect children's rights. The Ministry of Social Care has relaunched the National Committee for the Monitoring of the Rights of the Child at the Warren's Office Complex. The 13-member committee will be chaired by UNICEF's Children's Champion and Attorney-at-Law Faith Marshall-Harris, while its deputy chair will be Shelley Scantlebury. Social Care Minister Steve Blackett says the relaunch is in keeping with the Convention on the Rights of the Child. He says it will play a pivotal role in educating the public and keeping his ministry abreast of the latest developments.
The primary role of this monitoring committee is to advise the minister with responsibility for children on the implementation of the articles of the Convention on the Rights of the Child. And the other duties, of course, of the committee would include to advocate, advise, and make recommendations on issues and policies aimed at protecting and promoting the rights of the child, to facilitate public education exercises aimed at sensitizing communities and building partnerships with respect to the implementation of the Convention on the Rights of the Child.
Meantime, the chairman of the monitoring committee wants members to get familiar with all the articles in the convention. Ms. Marshall-Harris also reminded them of the importance of having reports prepared before the deadline.
We can start then to kind of chart a course to the next report, which, as you said, is going to be ready, need to be ready in 2 years' time. And I'm hoping that we are all ambitious enough, this committee is ambitious enough, that we will want to best our previous achievement by having our report ready.
Come August 9th, a Barbadian reggae artist will have the rare opportunity to perform at one of the biggest reggae shows in Jamaica. He is Jermaine Griffith, commonly known as LRG. Speaking to CBC this morning, Griffith revealed the gig at the Vibrant Day celebrations will be the highlight of his career, which dates back to his school days. The 36-year-old says he is excited to be performing in Jamaica, noting that it was very hard for foreign reggae artists to be recognized there.
You just keep working, you know what I mean? You maintain your work. If you know that you got saying that the worker here, just keep on, just keep that quote and just going harder and harder. Don't try to better people, better yourself, you know what I mean? And people will hear.
LRG will spend a month in Jamaica and then he will travel to England. Meantime, former government MP and patron of the Hamilton Lashley Development Foundation, Hamilton Lashley, lauded the artist's accomplishments.
The fact is that he has now breakthrough. When it's difficult, when Barbadians are bringing in Jamaican artists, here's Jamaica asking for Barbadian artists to come to Jamaica to perform. And this is possibly opening a gateway for other young Barbadian artists. And I really want to congratulate LRG for the effort.
A group of campers will this year be exposed to more than just the traditional arts and crafts. The nearly 60 campers taking part in the after-school project will get to work directly with professionals in acting, jewelry making, photography, among other areas. Today, they interacted with actor Antoine Williams. Gola Smithen Victor is the coordinator of the after-school project, and she told CBC News the plan is to show the 4 to 15-year-olds what potential career options exist in culture and arts.
The after-school project, really, we are geared towards helping kids use their creative abilities to help others in innovative ways. So hence Antoine, a dramatist, a theatre practitioner, is here showing how he, as an artist or individual, can use his skills to impact on others or help others or advocate for a cause.
Police are seeking the public's assistance in locating an elderly Christchurch man who has been missing for about a week. He is Carl DaCosta Maskell, 66 years, of Kingsland Park, and he was last seen on Monday, July 14th. Maskell is 5 feet 11 inches in height, slim build, and of a light brown complexion. He has grey hair in an afro hairstyle and has tattoos of an anchor and mermaid on the inside of his right arm. Maskell suffers from low blood pressure and takes medication for his condition. Anyone with information relative to the whereabouts of Carl DaCosta Maskell is asked to contact the police emergency number 211 or the nearest police station.